Celebrities try their best to lead a private life, but every now and again it seems to backfire. With cameras pointed at their faces every moment of the day, it can be hard to keep the more intimate details a secret. Although it's certainly no easy, some celebs have still managed to keep their love life under wraps and away from the public eye. Some are trying to hide their relationships with other celebrities, while others don't want the truth of their sexuality to be shared. It can be quite the shock after years of thinking a celebrity is straight to discover that they have actually been in relationships with the same sex during their entire career. After a certain amount of time, perhaps from the frustration of hiding, celebrities can eventually feel comfortable in revealing their real sexual preferences. Do you have the ability to see through the truth of their charade? We've lined up 10 popular celebs that were revealed to have secret same-sex lives. Can you guess who they are? You may guess a few, but many will shock you after having not realizing it this whole time. Let us know in the comments how many you guessed correctly. This English singer and songwriter is currently touring around the world performing an album he debuted last year. His career took off in 2012 and has been booming ever since, which led him to win 4 Grammys only 2 years later. This musical artist was the son of a broker, and an alumnus of the Youth Music Theatre in the UK. This performer was tutored by Joanna Eden, and when he lived back in Bishop's Stortford he attended St. Mary's Catholic School and served on the school's choir. This artist is still young, 23 years old, and has some rather famous relatives. He is third cousins with Lily and Alfie Allen, the pop singer and Game of Thrones actor. This artist continues to struggle with OCD daily, and has taken to the net to discuss the great lengths he must go through before leaving the house. Prior to getting into music, this artist worked as a bar scrubbing toilets, and his favorite TV show of all time is Modern Family. Can you guess who it is on this lonely hour? This American actor originally hails from Pittsburgh but spent the majority of his life in Green Tree, Pennsylvania. He starred in several television series but didn't become famous until his appearance on the show Heroes. Despite his powers on the show, he has been quoted as saying if he could have any superpower it would be invisibility. As a child he won the award for Best Supporting Actor in his high school musicals at Central Catholic High School. His father was a barber and his mother was a tax attorney who later worked at the magistrate's office. His father died when he was 7, and so he and his brother Joe were primarily raised by their mother. His favorite word is brouhaha, is a fairly big dog person, and has said that he thinks he could win in a fight against a duck the size of a horse. After finding so much success in his acting career, he has so far had no problem living long and prosper. Can you guess who this actor is? Zachary Quinto is 37 years old now, and has said that he knew he was gay at the age of 9. For years it was assumed that Quinto was straight, but he surprised everyone by coming out in October of 2011. His sexuality was announced after the teenage Jamie Road Mayer committed suicide as a result of being bullied for being gay. Many stars had powerful reactions to Jamie's death, and a lot of momentum was added to the It Gets Better campaign, which shows young people that once they get past the unforgiving schoolhouse environment, that life becomes much more pleasant for those with differing lifestyles. Quinto felt that he had an obligation as a star to be proud of who he was and to show to young and potentially impressionable fans that it is possible to live a successful life as a gay person and not to be ashamed of one's nature. Since Quinto's announcement, he has been a steady activist for LGBT groups, dated the actor Jonathan Groff for 2 years, and is currently dating the artist Miles McMillan, who he is currently moving in with. This 29-year-old American actress is currently married to one of the biggest heartthrobs in Hollywood today, and she met him on the set of The Rum Diary. She was born in Austin, Texas as the daughter of an internet researcher and a contractor. She never finished high school but later received a diploma through a home study program. She faced a traumatic experience at the age of 16 when her best friend died in a car crash, and after being introduced by her boyfriend to the literary works of Ayn Rand, she converted from a Catholic into a devout atheist. You may have seen her on the big screen in Zombieland, where she was the first person to try and eat Jesse Eisenberg's face, or as a leading lady in the more recent Magic Mike XXL. She was recently the subject of a scandal in Australia that could see her facing up to 11 years in prison and a $102,000 fine. You've definitely heard of this actress before. Can you guess who she is? Despite the fact that she is married to the megastar Johnny Depp, Heard has said that she is absolutely bisexual, and she has the relationship record to prove it. Heard dated Tasia Vendry for 4 years before moving on to Depp. Heard told Elle magazine back in 2013 that she didn't want to look like I was hiding anything. I'm not, and wasn't ever, ashamed. And is currently an active LGBT activist. Heard originally came out in 2010 at GLAAD's 25th anniversary event, but made sure to specify that she doesn't like to be labeled or to label herself. She considers herself as a free person who wants to pursue what she wants as it appeals to her. Amber claimed that her decision to come out was influenced by a profound question she asked herself, which was whether she was contributing to the lack of gay rights by not being more active with her career's media opportunities, and she ultimately decided that she would begin using her star power to bring awareness to the largest civil issue of our generation. This star got his start as a personal trainer by working with celebrity clients such as Jennifer Jason Leigh. He was born in Nashville, Tennessee, and would later attend Austin Peay State University in Clarksville. Back in 1999, Harper was featured in the background of a Melissa Etheridge music video titled Breakdown, and it helped him get noticed and selected as one of the 2 primary personal trainers on The Biggest Loser. Despite all of his success, he still works as yoga instructor in Los Angeles. You can find this star on workout DVDs, and as of this year he is also the official host of The Biggest Loser. He was a vegan for 1 year and was voted as the sexiest vegetarian alive by PETA. This star is a major advocate of animal rights and has publicly spoke regarding puppy mills, and was the national spokesman for the Farm Sanctuary's 2010 Walk for Animals. I don't mean to harp on you, but can you guess who this star is? Harper has been on The Biggest Loser for more than a decade now, but nobody knew that he was gay until the 15th season when he shocked his co-stars by coming clean on the show. A contestant was having problems with admitting their sexuality to their parents, and that's when Harper admitted to him that he could relate as a result of having to go through the same issues. Bob Harper's reveal was given a substantial amount of media coverage, and he used that opportunity to reference the show as a prime example of the narrow-mindedness that can come from those who are judgmental. Harper originally came out to his parents at the age of 17, and he knew at the time that there would be several obstacles that would present themselves to him, but he reached the conclusion that being gay doesn't mean being weak, and he felt he had to pass that on to viewers at home. It's just who you are. Harper was greeted with an outpour of support for him on Twitter, although a fair share of Biggest Loser viewers said they were forever done with the show, a decision that Harper says further cemented that he did the right thing. This American actor was struggling to find work and was only able to land roles in low-budget commercials until 2007, when he landed a TV role on a nerdy CBS show that would forever change his life. It has been a ratings juggernaut for the last decade, and the role has earned him multiple Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe, and a gig in the Broadway play The Normal Heart. He received a Drama Desk Award for his Broadway role, and was then cast as the same character in the film adaptation. As if his career wasn't divine enough, he continued his Broadway performance by playing God himself in An Act of God this year. He was born in Houston, Texas, where he went to Klein Oak High School and got involved with his first real theater performance. He knew he wanted to be an actor at the age of 6, and he now makes nearly $1 million for every episode he stars in on his critically acclaimed show. Can you guess who is making such a big bang in Hollywood? Although The Big Bang Theory had been on the air for more than 5 years at the time, hardcore fans were still surprised to learn that Parsons was gay. In a New York Times article in 2012, he said that he had been in a relationship with Todd Spivak for more than 10 years. Parsons doesn't talk too much about it, so it still continues to surprise people today when they learn about it. Parsons has described his relationship with Spivak as an act of love. Coffee in the morning, going to work, washing the clothes, taking the dogs out, a regular life, boring love. During a recent interview with Ellen DeGeneres, Parsons was pressed on whether he and Todd would be tying the knot anytime soon, but he said that the whole situation is very complex and that the two were undecided. When Ellen pressed the issue again later in the show, he quipped that she sounded like his mother. This American comedian and actor worked in off-Broadway productions of Shakespeare plays throughout most of the 1980s. He was born in Saratoga Springs, New York, as the son of an aspiring actor and an insurance agent. He created his own middle name to separate himself from another actor of the same name, and he is rather talented at the organ. He studied at Yale, which was also the location of his acting roles on stage. In his first television role, he landed a spot on a political comedy called The Powers That Be. A couple of years after his first TV spot, he would get his biggest role on the long-running show Frasier, which earned him 4 Emmy Award wins. He has dedicated a large portion of his life to working with the Alzheimer's Association, and has spoke on the organization's behalf in Washington, D.C., to argue for an increase in funding. At his lowest point he was selling ties and working as a security guard, but ever since he pierced the acting world he has been a star ever since. Can you guess who he is? Throughout the Frasier series, Pierce always seemed to have a steady girlfriend, but some people were skeptical and continued to question his sexuality. Finally, after the show had concluded, Pierce revealed that he was actually gay and in a relationship with Brian Harper through his publicist back in 2007. Harper happened to be his boyfriend of 24 years. David and Brian were finally married the next year, merely days before the approval of Proposition 8, which banned same-sex marriage. David didn't make his disdain for Prop 8 known, and while making a guest appearance on The View he publicly announced his marriage in advance and proceeded to slam the proposition as being counterproductive, bigoted, and none of the state's business. Pierce has always been very careful to keep a low profile because he understands full well the kind of negative blowback that actors can receive when they are outed, and has said that, just like anything else, privacy will always play an important role in business. During the 1980s and 1990s, this American musician was the lead singer of a band that happens to be named after a sleep cycle. The band lasted for 31 years but eventually dissolved in 2011, but not before they became one of the best-selling musical groups in history with over 85 million albums sold. The singer is often heavily parodied for his unique style of singing, which sounds like he is mumbling. Outside of music he is known for his 2 film companies called COO and Single Cell Pictures. He was originally born in Decatur, Georgia, although he had to constantly travel as a result of his father's military status, and he finished his schooling in Illinois. His sister also became a singer in her own band named Hetch Hetchy. During the early 90s he was the target of a vicious rumor which suggested that he had contracted HIV, but was eventually debunked. This artist has been responsible for a lot of shiny happy people. Can you guess who it is? Back in 1994 Stipe was questioned about his sexuality, but refused to humor the request and chose not to define himself by any one particular term, preferring the ambiguous word queer. 10 years after his initial questioning, Stipe was asked again about the truth of his sexuality, and he proclaimed, "I don't declare myself as gay. I think there's a line drawn between gay and queer, and for me, queer describes something that's more inclusive of the gray areas." Michael has also described himself as an equal opportunity lech, and has previously had relationships with both men and women, with his longest same-sex relationship lasting for 6 years. Douglas A. Martin published a novel in 1999 titled Outline of My Lover, which detailed the relationship shared between Martin and Stipe, and served as the 3rd book that they had collaborated on. Stipe claims that coming out made him a better person, but that he chose to stay quiet regarding his sexuality for so long as a way of maintaining the privacy of his partners, and maintaining the honor of his heterosexual relationships. This American actor is one of 4 children from a small family in Ohio, who dropped out of college to pursue a career in film. He landed on a few small roles on soap operas and had some small parts in various films, but never anything big until 2004 when he was cast as Lindsay Lohan's love interest in the unexpected smash hit Mean Girls. He hasn't had a role as big since then, but he has still managed to keep his career alive, including a role as a host on the show Cake Wars. He went to Eagle Point Elementary School in Rossford, and his first piece of real acting experience was when he was in the 7th grade. He joined the theater program at Otterbein College, and eventually moved to New York to act, but these days he is more recognized from his performances on Dancing with the Stars, where he was paired with the gorgeous Alison Polker and finished 9th place. So how about it? Can you guess who this fast-stepping actor is, or will you be lampooned as much as he was? Bennett was considered by many to be a bit of a heartthrob, so some women were probably a little more than disappointed to learn that he was gay in real life, and the worst part was that the big reveal was completely accidental. On an episode of Dancing with the Stars, dancer Julian Hough accidentally revealed that Bennett was gay in an interview, even though he himself had not yet announced his sexuality to the public. Jonathan is a huge advocate of the Love is Louder project, which included him posting a video of himself online detailing the extensive and horrible bullying he had undergone while younger. Bennett claims that the reason he wanted the role in Mean Girls to begin with was that it was a film which brought awareness to an issue he had been involved with so closely, and that it had made such an impact on him that he felt obligated to contribute to the project. While Bennett claims to still be bullied as a result of his orientation, the Love is Louder project lets young people know that there are others out there who love them, and that the love they have outweighs the hate and judgment displayed by others. This American actor has been a big name since the 1970s when he first starred on the TV sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter. After his first big appearances on screen he was hotter than a fever on Saturday Night, and the movie offers just kept on coming. He played a prank on the murderous Carrie, pretended to be Nicolas Cage in a classic 90s action flick, and had a less than fortunate run-in with an angry and armed Bruce Willis. He also has a knack for voice acting and bolted to success when he voiced the film's furry titular character. In recent years he has been the subject of some rather extensive mocking as a result of his involvement with an unpopular space-based religious organization, although through its ministry he was able to provide millions worth of relief effort to those in need. He won a Golden Globe in 2014, and no one knows how to distract a hacker better than he can. Has your brain been greased enough yet? Can you guess who he is? Although Travolta has never fully admitted to the public that he is gay, the evidence that has mounted strongly suggests that it's the case. Travolta's private pilot wanted to write a book that detailed their long intimate relationship, but Travolta has been stopping at nothing in an effort to keep it quiet. A judge recently ruled that Travolta cannot stop the pilot from telling the story if it's true, so the details are likely to be released soon enough. Travolta's ex-pilot is not the only one who has made serious allegations about Travolta in the past. In 2012 a former Royal Caribbean employee accused Travolta of aggressively coming on to him during a cruise in 2009, and there have been several recorded incidents of Travolta approaching lone men in the gym at 3 a.m. Travolta has been married since 1991, but even his wife has alluded to suspicions of Travolta's true sexuality in interviews. Although she also hasn't said it outright, there are lawyers to ensure that never happens. This American actress has been acting for her entire life, with her earliest role being at just 3 years old, but her big breakout role came in 1976 when she starred opposite of Robert De Niro in Martin Scorsese's film Taxi Driver. She captured the interest of a cannibalistic Anthony Hopkins, defended her house from burglars inside her panic room, and ran one of the most devious organizations of all time in the film Elysium. She was born in Los Angeles, was able to read at the age of 3 and quickly learned French, and also dubs herself in the French cut of the films she stars in. She attended Yale University, graduated magna cum laude, and wrote her thesis on Toni Morrison. She was the target of an aggressive stalker during her freshman year in college, often attempted to contact her via phone and letter, and in 1981 he attempted to assassinate Ronald Reagan in an effort to impress her. I won't foster any grudges if you can't guess this one properly. Who is she? Foster's masculine voice and facial features have always raised suspicions about her femininity, but during the Golden Globe Awards in 2013 Foster noted that some members of the press were openly describing her as gay, and, after having enough, she finally acknowledged it. Foster had privately been in a relationship with Sidney Bernard for 15 years before they split in 2008, but not before having 2 children via insemination. Afterwards Foster married photographer Alexandra Hedison in 2014. Jodi's Golden Globe speech was not the first time she had mentioned her homosexuality. Back in 2007 she affirmed the rumors of her orientation in a speech at the Women in Entertainment honorary breakfast. Foster has spoke out about the toxicity and predatory nature of modern media outlets, and has stated that privacy in a famous lifestyle is the most sanctimonious and seldom thing that one can find. Jodie has promised to tell her children who their biological father is at the age of 21, but the kids have made it clear that their real parents are the ones who raised them through thick and thin, and that their mothers are the only parents they'll ever need.